The property market's been running hot across much of the country, and this is the deal. FOMO. Everyone's heard of FOMO, fear of
FOMO.
missing out, felt by many home buyers and investors as prices skyrocket.
So the big question is this: how are investors like us who weren't born with a silver spoon successfully investing in property to create a passive income and still have a lifestyle now? That is the question. This podcast will give you the answers. I'm George Markowski and welcome to the Positive Property Show. Our mission is to empower 10,000 people to create financial freedom through property using the Markowski method. Join us.
Hello and welcome to the show. George Markowski and Belinda Flaherty coming to you live.
Live and loud, ladies and gentlemen, live and loud.
Today I've had quite a few red wines and had some painkillers. I've pulled my neck out. I mean, really, I had a workout on Tuesday. So, but that's okay. Should be interesting. Now, we're talking about has the property market peaked and what's coming in 2022. Now, if you're watching live, please type in hashtag live. And obviously, for the people that are watching the replay, type in hashtag replay. Welcome. We're live in the Australian Property Chat. You might be watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, all over the place. But if you come to the Australian Property Chat, that's where you can interact with Belinda and I live. It's exciting.
That's where you can ask questions and all that amazing stuff.
Has the property market peaked? What do you reckon, guys? Who says yes? Who says no? What's going on? I'm going to tell you what's been happening. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, perfect. So get your little answers in there, ladies and gentlemen, on this lovely Thursday evening. We love it. We love it. Our favourite time of the week.
That's right. See, the property market's been running hot across much of the country. And this is the deal. FOMO. Everyone's heard of FOMO. Fear of missing out, felt by many home buyers and investors as prices skyrocket. You know, you go in each week, the price go up and people are going crazy, right? Now, in the latest headlines, there's been talk that property values may be peaking, that interest rates might be coming to a rise, or even the RBA and financial regulators might step in and deliberately cool the market down. So will this property boom last into 2022, or is the market about to come down to earth with a crash? Is it too late to get into the market and take advantage of rapid growth, or is there much more to come? See, some commentators claim that rising prices have created the property bubble that's about to burst. Are they right? And should you be worried? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, that sounds I like that. Absolutely. You know, and we've got a lot of people out there, a part of this group, you know, that, these kind of nights are really great information if you haven't started to invest, because the more information you get, guys, it's more power to you. So, and if you've got questions, this is the time to do it. So we've had a few people going in saying almost.
Continue to grow high, yeah. So look, this is the deal. Days like today is when I'm grateful and thankful that I'm a property investor. I'll tell you why. On Tuesday, I had a workout, pulled my neck out, and I've been, since Tuesday, 3 days, I've done nothing, right?
Yeah, right.
And my neck's been out, and I've just done nothing. And the beautiful part is, even though I've done nothing, my property has been putting money in my account anyway. You know, and that's the deal. See, George Markowski, would you like a neck brace? Maybe I need one. I don't know. But I've had a few.
Hasn't Christina got one as a sparey?
Yep. Depends on how well the job market does. I'm told it will crash, but I think it will grow. Okay. Yeah.
Told it would crash.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is.
What do you think of that comment, Georgie? What do you think of that comment?
Look, this is the deal. And one thing is, I want to talk about why I'm thankful and grateful that I'm a property investor. If you haven't replaced your income through property, you should make that your number one goal. Belinda looks so beautiful, someone said. Look at that.
Who's that? Thank
someone
you.
Someone says, bravo, Bate. Sounds like it's my brother, my bro, has been saying thank you. Thanks, bro. Thanks, Sashal. Thank you. I think it's him. I can't tell from here, but I reckon it probably is. So look, if you haven't replaced your income through property, it's the one thing you should do, because this is the deal. The wealthy investors, right? They make money out of passive income. And
Absolutely.
the struggling investors or the struggling people that struggle make active income where you get paid per dollar. Right? I'm working on it. Good. That's very good. Now, guess who has sent me an email today?
Who?
Starts with an R. Have you heard of that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Are you saying Uncle Robert? Uncle Bobby?
Yes. So looks
Uncle
like
Robert.
what I did is I
Uncle
invited.
Mr. Okay.
So as you probably know, Robert Kiyosaki is one of my mentors. And what I did is I reached out to him recently and said, Robert, I'm doing a one-day summit. Do you want to come along and teach a bit of your skills? And I think he's open-minded. So who wants to see Robert Kiyosaki live with me presenting? Robert Kiyosaki, that's right. Let me know because I reckon he might come along. We're going to see this, but I'm planning on doing a one-day real estate summit.
That would be amazing.
Next month. And I really want to get Robert on board because Robert is the king of the cash flow quadrant. He's
absolutely
also,
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob, no, Robert, yes.
Uncle Robert.
Rich Dad, that's right, Rich Dad. But he's also the king of knowing how to create a team.
Yes.
And that's the key because no one becomes successful on their own. See, the guy that invented Ford Motor Company, Henry Ford. He said he'd rather have 1% of 100 people than 100% of his own ability. He likes Adelaide. Good. I didn't realize he likes Adelaide. I know Elon Musk likes Adelaide because he came down here and made $200 million when he came down here selling us a battery. So he loves it. I know that much. I don't know about Robert Kiyosaki. Probably, yeah. Never know. So is the property market going to crash or is it going to keep going up? And that's the big question people are asking. And this is the reason people are asking, because they don't understand the fundamentals of real estate investing.
Yes.
Right? And once you understand the core principles, then you won't be asking these questions anymore. Wouldn't we all like to know so we can take advantage of it? Absolutely. Well, this is the deal.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do.
Investing in property is not about timing. It's about time in the market.
Yes.
And the people that want to be smart and want to do time and get the timing right every time, whether it's stock market, Bitcoin, property, it's all the same. The longer you have it for, the safer you are because you get better return. See, when you invest in property, if you invest for 1 year, see, 2/3 of property investors lose money on property, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
2/3. And the reason being is because they're not investing for the long term. They're trying to make quick gains, and quick gains aren't possible. What needs to happen is you need to educate yourself. You need to look at the long term and you need to invest because it doesn't matter if there's a correction or not. If you're not in property, you can't make money out of property.
That's right.
Right. The only way to make money out of property is by having property. So worrying about a correction or trying to take advantage of correction is the wrong way of thinking. The way you got to think is long term. How am I going to make money long term? Because the long term is the most important part.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
now, you don't want to invest just before a crash either at the peak. No, you don't want to do that. No. I agree. You want to buy at 7 o'clock, not at 12 o'clock. And I'm a big fan of that because really at the end of the day, you got to get your timing right. You got to be in it, win it, yes, but you got to get your timing right as well. And
got to be in it to win it.
We're not going to have a crash. Well, we've got a bit of a feedback loop happening at the moment.
We do, absolutely.
Right? Let me explain what's happening, right? And I think part of this, right, is, see, we've had COVID now for like a year or so, right? Right. And I think we've got a bit of a thing called cabin fever property boom.
I love that. I like that. That makes perfect sense.
What do you think's going on here? Are we all sick of each other? I flagged this little puzzle before. It's only getting worse. So Domain released the vacancy rates, which shows that vacancies are down to 1.6%. Now that's ridiculously low. Lowest level in 10 years, right? And all cities have returned low vacancies. There's some that are bad, like, Melbourne City, Adelaide City, places like that, which are terrible. Like Melbourne City, 7.4. It's terrible. It's the worst. Brisbane inner city, 3.4. Adelaide inner city, 4.1. But most places are really good, right? Now, net immigration has gone negative. We've lost 70,000 people in Australia in the last 12 months. Our net immigration,
Wow.
right? Even though we've lost 70,000 people, our vacancy's gone down. So what's going on there?
Yeah, right.
So what it means, despite COVID, people are going out on their own and starting up new households. Or maybe it's not despite COVID, maybe it's because of COVID.
Could be.
Yeah, look, it might just get too tight, squishy living with your mum and dad or in a share house. You know what I mean? I mean, do we hate each other that much? Do people need to just get away from each other for a while, regardless of what it costs us? So I'm calling it the cabin fever property boom. And it's not surprising with vacancy rates this low. Rents are growing at a record pace as well. Now, what happens when rents go up? Property prices go up. So on top of the cheap money boom, right, we've got a cabin fever boom as well. And that's why this boom is already breaking all records. So this boom keeps on booming, right? So if you think it's going to stop, I've got something to tell you. It's not going to stop, right? And what I've been talking about before is, if you heard about boom stacking, we spoke about a while ago.
Absolutely. We did touch on this subject. It's quite an interesting idea, as what you were saying before. So if maybe worth talking about it, just in case people didn't hear it in the last podcast or Facebook.
This is the boom stacking theory, what's happening, right? So what's happening at the moment is we've got the boom that's happening because we've got cabin fever. We've got the boom that's happening because of low interest rates. We've got boom happening because of people got more money now. We've got a boom because there's more money getting printed in inflation.
Yes.
Now we've got a few more booms to stack on top of that. So I'm talking, this is getting so high, it's crazy, right? So we're going to answer all these questions later. I want you to flag them. We're going to answer them later. But what's happening is these booms, one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, getting all stacked up. And it's going to create a mega boom. It's like getting one wave on top of another wave. Imagine if a surfer and just going off, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's two more booms that are happening on top of this, right? Which is interesting. So we've got the cabin fever, right? But see, there's another thing that's making it boom, and that's because we've got a lack of properties to sell, right? And this is called the boom loop effect. Do you want to hear about the boom loop?
The boom what? Say that again.
The boom loop effect.
Boom loop. George, there's one thing I must say. I'm always learning something new with you. Talk about the boom loop.
Okay, so the boom keeps on booming, right? But now we're stuck in a feedback loop that will keep prices growing quickly through the end of the year. I'll call it the boom loop, right?
Fantastic.
So what's happened is there's been massive growth, right?
Yep.
Very limited available. There's not much stock available as in properties, right? So the problem with, because there's not a lot of properties available to sell, this actually really discourages would-be sellers. Think about this. People sellers are worried that if they sell, they won't be able to find another place to move into, or that price will run away from them. They won't be able to find another place. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so when prices are growing quickly, sellers freeze up and you get even less stock coming in the market. This is what started the boom in the first place. What happened was people that wanted to sell, they were worried because COVID price would go down. So they didn't want to sell because they were scared they weren't going to get enough money. And that created the boom in the first place. But now, because there's a boom, now they're not selling because of the boom. And then what happens is that actually in turn pushes the price even higher. That's the feedback loop I'm talking about. And that's why price will continue to grow strongly for the next 6 months as well. So 2021 is shaping to be one of the most epic years in property history. What a time to be alive, hey?
Yeah, it's great. It is a good time to be alive.
And look,
100%.
And I don't know if you heard what happened, what I spoke about last week, but Australians the richest people in the world.
Good place to be.
We just beat Switzerland because they were the richest. Now we're the richest, right?
Hey, so we were told that we're the lucky country, so that just clarifies
we're the richest people in the world, and because of that, that's another thing. Now you know that Australians owe $1.9 trillion worth of debt in the property market.
Now that sounds like a lot of money, but it's not
No,
It's
but
not
the property
really on a
market's
scale of
worth
things.
over 6 trillion, though.
Say that again.
The property market's worth over 6 trillion.
Wow.
So we
That's
hardly own anything.
crazy
It's like
figures.
21%. It's like
Wow.
nothing.
It's nothing really.
Yes, and that's the whole point.
Awesome.
So that's what's been happening, and that's what I want to talk about, which is pretty exciting.
Yes, I love it. That's pretty exciting stuff.
Now, who's
For
that
sure.
famous soccer player? Oh, I love that. Wow. Has anyone seen that video? Boom, boom, boom. Let me see you say, wayo, wayo. Let me
Boom,
see,
boom,
wayo.
hey-oh.
See that video of that chick doing it? It's hilarious. It went viral. So I don't know if you saw with the soccer, there's that famous soccer player, I think
Beckham.
Ronaldo or something. Ronaldo.
Oh,
Or something.
Ronaldo. Okay, yep,
Yeah,
sorry.
and what he did, this is the power of celebrity. So before he started this video, there was 2 bottles of Coke in front of him. And what he did, he just grabbed the Coke and moved it to the side, moved it over to the side. Who saw this? And then just stopped and started this interview. Now, those actions cost Coke $5 billion off the stock price. Now, imagine the power that you can use your arms to move a Coke bottle half a meter. And
That's great.
like that's the most expensive action that I've ever heard of in history. Of
What are you doing with your hands?
like, yeah, exactly. Like, wow. Imagine that you can do that with your hands, destroy $5 billion worth of stocks.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so the future of that celebrity and that status and all that's amazing. It's
Celebrity
like,
endorsement, all that kind of stuff, 100%.
Exactly. So let's hear from some of our guests, some of our fans. What are you up to? What's happening? How is the Thursday night? I've had my Panadine Fort. I've had a few wines. I'm in a good mood. Let's have a chat.
Absolutely. I'm in a good mood too because I got a lovely care package from all you guys. So that was lovely.
Yes, you did. I'm glad you got that care package, which is great.
I'm usually Melbourne, but I'm in Brisbane at the moment. So, you guys gave me felt like a little trophy that arrived at my hotel today. So thank you guys.
Yeah,
I'm going to do a Facebook post. I've just been flat out today, but we'll get there.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah. So now I guess it's time for Q&A time.
Q&A. Awesome.
Hey,
Let's get
your program. So pumped. High five. Awesome. I wish I could read their name.
A Facebook user. I don't know who that is, but hey, we're pumped to have you here. So bring it
so
on.
much. I'm very grateful and I'm excited because our overarching goal, our unstoppable mission is to empower 10,000 people to create wealth through investing in properties, the Markowski method. And you're going to be one of those 10,000, which is great. So high five. Well
bring
done.
it on.
Excellent.
Absolutely. High five.
Yeah.
We
so
like
now
people
is the time where I'm going to answer any question that you want, unless it's very personal, then I might answer it anyway.
Yes.
Sotir Varavelsky.
What are you drinking, George?
I'm drinking kefir.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Kombucha. Okay, so let's go stuck into some of these. Should we be concerned about banks raising fixed rates, and will they shortly move their standard variable?
Okay, a good question. So the reason the banks have raised their fixed rates is because it's actually more expensive to borrow money now from the RBA. Right? What they've done is they gave them a little leeway. They've made it a bit more expensive. But what you need to understand, guys, is one thing which is very important is that usually interest rates and inflation track each other. So interest rates go up, inflation goes up. Actually, the other way around. Inflation goes up, interest rates go up. And the reason they put interest rates up is interest rates are like a handbrake to stop the economy from going overboard. Right? And they used it like a big weapon back in the late 80s and really put it up to 24% at one stage.
Yeah, right.
Right? And what is it now? Like nothing, right? So
nothing.
Basically, at the moment, we've got the lowest interest rates we've had in 5,000 years, which is pretty low. And I'm not too concerned about interest rates going up.
No.
What is the package of your membership? That's a great question. I'd love to answer that in a minute. But
Absolutely.
what I think is, I wouldn't be concerned at all. I've been investing.
Hey,
Okay.
weren't you
So
investing when property was like the interest rate was like 13, 18%?
I think it was like I was investing when the interest rate was like 11%.
Okay.
It didn't bother
Yeah.
me. I still made money, but now it's a lot cheaper, obviously. So it's all a matter of how you structure it and how you do it. And when the interest rates go up, you just need to make sure you got your cash flow right. That's all. Right.
Yep.
So, so let's
Absolutely.
go through these questions.
Absolutely.
Your membership. Good question. If you want to find out about a membership, type in hashtag free call, and one of
Cool.
our members will call you and send you a link, and you can check it out and check out what we do. Right?
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
because obviously we've got a membership, and look, part of what we do is we help people invest in property, but also, here in this group, Australian Property Chat, I'm here to give you free information. And for the
That's
people that
right.
want to join, I'm not going to complain. That's fine, but you don't have to. It doesn't matter.
Yes, absolutely.
You said you don't want
Absolutely.
to buy before the peak, and how far will the fall be? Okay, yeah. So look, the deal is it's very hard to pick the peak and the fall, but what there is it's not just one. Australia's not one big market. There's 16,000 suburbs in Australia, so it's 16,000 suburbs, and at any given point in time, there's a percentage of suburbs that are going up, some going down, some doing nothing. So what I
Yes.
suggest you do is get a winner and go on to suburbs going up, and it doesn't matter because you want to go
Yeah.
up. So
Correct.
what you need to look at is, one, the demand supply ratio of that suburb, but really
Yes.
another thing you look at is the market cycle timing, because if a suburb's gone up 5 years in a row, well, guess what? You're probably nearing a peak.
Yep.
But if it hasn't gone up 5 years in a row, then it's not. So I wouldn't touch Sydney or Melbourne at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm looking Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, and they're
Yep.
the ones that are going to have their, place. So South Queensland,
However, there's certain areas, there's not all parts of
no,
Queensland,
no,
not
no.
all parts of Adelaide. I
Look,
mean, you could go by in Virginia. I mean, it's market gardens out there in
yeah. So look,
Adelaide.
out of these capital cities, I'd only say probably only 1 or 2% of the property of the suburbs that I'd go in. The rest I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, exactly. There's only a certain amount. And look, I suppose it comes down to, guys, if you're going to buy into an area, you have to do your research. If you're not doing your research, you're buying blind. That's all I can say. Oh, I finally made it after BZ schedules. Hi,
Hi,
Belinda and
George and
George.
Belinda. Hello.
Facebook user, hello, welcome.
Yep. Because we're actually on a program called Restream, because we're streaming live to about 5 different channels or 10 different channels. And sometimes we can't see your name. So I apologize.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Otherwise we'd say your name, but if you type in your name, then we'll be able to read it. It'll be fine.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
welcome. And I'm trying to look at our Facebook group, but it's not coming up for some reason.
It's not. So
No.
let's get back to the questions. We've got what about Tasmania, George? Where does it sit on the property clock?
Yeah, okay. Tasmania, where does it sit in the property clock? Well, basically, until I go through all the capital cities around Australia, I don't really look at Tasmania. So Hobart and Canberra, I really want to be exposed to all the major capital cities first. So I want to be in Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, right?
Correct.
Then after those 5, then I'll look at Darwin, Canberra, Hobart.
Mm-hmm.
But even those 5 I'll go back in there, because the bigger cities have just got more growth and got more potential, and the more for them are just easier. I don't like going, I normally go to large regional centres or capital cities, and I like capital cities. They're just very easy. Nothing wrong with Tasmania,
absolutely.
nothing wrong with Hobart, but it's not your first place to invest, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Which quantity surveyors are good?
Okay, look.
There's a few out there.
Depends. Yeah, so look, I've gone through quite a few. I used to use BMT, but I found the guy recently who's amazing. And what I'll do is I'll get him on one of our lives to have a chat to everyone because he's a really cool guy.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, so what I'll do is
whoever's asked that question, keep involved in our lives because we'll get the guy on.
Yeah, I'm going to get him on because he is really good. And this guy that I spoke to, I think his name's Peter, he advised the government on the whole depreciation thing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, yeah, the guy's one of the best.
Let's get him on. I'm excited. All right, next question. What are your strategies you recommend to safeguard if there is a considerable adjustment between rental yields?
Yes. Well, okay. The best safeguard you can have about that, and this is, I keep flogging a dead horse over and over. But
I know what you're going to say, but go on.
One, get your property in the top 100 because then you're making capital growth because when you make capital growth, your rent goes up as well.
Correct.
2, when you buy a property, get your cash flow calculator out and make sure you can afford it. Those are the 2 things that are going to do it. Nothing else. A lot of people find investing complicated. That's because they don't understand the core principles. Once you understand the core principles, then it's easy. Now,
yes, absolutely.
Everything you've learnt about money and property is wrong.
Because they didn't teach it in schools.
No,
they didn't teach you that stuff in schools. It's ridiculous.
There's 2 things holding everyone back from making money, right? It's not complicated. It's actually simple. It's not easy. It's hard because emotionally it's hard to do this, but it's actually very simple. The problem is there's 2 things holding you back. 1, and this is the hard part, everything you know is holding you back, right? And that's the hardest part.
Yes.
If I can get rid of that, then I can teach you how to play this game, how to make $1 million. And then the second part holding you back is everything you don't know.
Yeah.
But if I can bridge that gap, if I can get rid of everything you know and then teach you everything you don't know, then it's simple. And you're going to be a property millionaire. That's how simple it is. And and look, the deal is, right, I can teach you till I'm blue in the face, but it's not going to work, right? It's a bit like, let's say, for example, you go read a book on riding a bike or playing tennis. You can read a book, you can do the course, but you know what you need? You need a coach to actually hold you on that bike or teach you how to play tennis and help you do it. But you don't need any coach. You need a coach that's successful, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to learn how to play tennis. Imagine if you've got Andrew Agassi and his team teaching you, right? You don't want someone that plays tennis part-time at the local tennis shop playing, right?
Or if you wanted the best golf swing, you want Greg Norman.
That's right, exactly. Or let's say you want parachuting. Who would you get? Would you get the cheapest parachuter or would you get the best? What would you Google?
Budget. Parachute experience.
So you can think of me as Andrew Agassi of property, but with a little bit more hair. Tiny bit.
Say, call yourself Rafter or something.
Okay.
Rafter or something. Yeah, Rafter's better. Agassi's been out for a while. So look, here's another question, Georgie.
Yep.
Is Adelaide still 6 o'clock?
Look,
what do you think Adelaide will be in the next 5 years? Can I say my thing about Adelaide?
Yeah, go.
Adelaide still got nappy pants. It's not quite big boy pants yet. It's growing up as a state.
Look, there's some good suburbs in Adelaide. It's great.
There sure is. I've got property in Adelaide.
The deal is, though, if you look at the interstate migration, Queensland's got more interstate migration than the rest of the country put together.
Wow.
Just think about that for a second. More than the whole country put together. How much interstate migration are we getting, Adelaide? Not much. Better than Melbourne.
So you've got to look at the stats, don't you?
For once, we're better than Melbourne, but we're not that. We're not getting much at all. We're on the bottom. We're one of the worst.
Yeah.
Except Melbourne's worse. The only one. We used to be the worst. South Australia used to be the worst, even worse than Tasmania. But now Melbourne have beaten us because everyone's leaving Melbourne. And Melbourne's got a negative state migration first time in 10 years. So there's more people leaving Melbourne than going to Melbourne. Now, Melbourne was flagged to become bigger than Sydney. And Victoria was flagged to become, Melbourne's flagged to become bigger than Sydney, but now, no.
Yes.
So, Queensland.
All these lockdowns don't help us either, definitely.
So, you know how you got New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland?
Yes.
They reckon it's going to be New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria.
Wow.
So many people are moving to Queensland. They reckon Queensland's going to be bigger than Victoria. Just
The good
let
old
that sink
Sunshine
in.
State.
So look at the prices in Melbourne at the moment, and look at the price in Brisbane. Now, what's going to happen when Queensland's bigger than Victoria?
It's
Right?
It's going to do a
Adelaide,
reversal.
Adelaide ain't going to be bigger than Victoria
No.
or Queensland or Perth. We'll be bigger than Hobart and Darwin. That's it. Right? That's the problem. We're small. We're little. But Adelaide's good. It's a little place. It's little, but it's good. But it's not,
Yeah.
Adelaide population is declining. Yes, it is.
Correct. Absolutely. So what about the next one?
What?
For the next one, what internal rate of return is the reasonable goal for residential property portfolio, say 5 properties? And what is your current IRR for your
Internal rate of
folio?
return. Okay, I don't even know what a internal rate of return is, but I'm going to tell you what I look at. I look at a gross return of 4.5 to 5.5%. And the reason I'm looking for that is because if you get less than that, you're going to a blue chip suburb that's already gone up. If you got more than 5.5%, you're way out in the sticks and you're not going to get capital growth. So you've got to look at the sweet spot. I don't know if you know about diving, much about diving, but with diving,
I do, but keep going.
With diving, there's a certain spot on that, diving board. If you go on that sweet spot, you have a perfect dive every time. But if you miss that sweet spot, you're screwed, right? Because it's not going to work.
Yes.
And most of diving is about hitting that sweet spot. And investing's the same way. You want to hit that sweet spot of 4.5 to 5.5% because that's where the growth is. That's just the way it works. I've done the numbers. That's the way it works. If you're getting too much return on your rent, it's not good because you're not going to get growth.
Yes.
If you're getting too little return, it's not good either.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Someone's just written, leaving Victoria, the Dan effect. LOL.
Yeah,
That's
Dan
hilarious.
effect. Well, you know what I've been saying about Dan. I'm not the biggest fan of Dan, especially what Dan's done to all the property investors in Victoria. He's screwed them over. If you've got property in Victoria, he's really hammered you, and you're going to have to pay more.
Yeah. Queensland, highest migration. Okay.
Queensland, exactly. It is. It's the highest migration.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Let's keep going.
Single income and told that I've almost maxed out the serviceability. Have I hit a brick wall, or there are strategies or approaches to buy more investment properties? Look, I don't know exactly.
Just bring that question up, George. Just bring that question up. Just keep it accountable. Awesome.
Yep. Okay. So the deal is there's always ways of getting more borrowing capacity, right?
Sure is.
But it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Because what we do is slowly work in our equity, slowly get on our cash flow. And then what I like to do is getting more equity and buying more properties is a bit like getting a combination lock. Let's say you got 10 locks and you turn one around here, turn this one, turn that one. And when you do it right, suddenly chink goes open. Now, the problem is some people want instant results. It doesn't happen, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it does when you start, but as you get more properties and you get less serviceability, it gets harder. But, I've done this over and over and over again, so I know what you need to do. And sometimes it's about introducing you to the right people that can do the job. So what I suggest you do is type in hashtag wealth call, talk to Charmaine and see if she can see your personal situation. And see
Charmaine is the person you want to chat to, 100%.
That's right. Increasing stamp duty. Yes, Dan Andrews is doing that. It's terrible.
We'll call him Mr. Stampy. Oh, Stampy pants.
There has to be a tipping point, though. Tipping point to what, Lisa? If you don't mind, explain that.
Just elaborating on that. There must be a tipping point.
Yep. Now, if someone said bank's interest in a term deposit is 0.3% at the moment, not worth peanuts. Well, look, not worth peanuts. It's worse than peanuts. What happens is if you put your money in the bank, you're screwed, right? Cash is trash. It really is. Anyone that's got money in the bank account right now, your money is shrinking every single day. So you should be panicking about this because everything's going up. Petrol's going up. Commodities are going up. Cars are going up.
That's right.
Properties are going up. Bitcoin,
And
stocks, rents are going up. Everything's going up. But you know what's happening with your money? It's going down. It's not going up.
yep,
You know it takes you
absolutely.
83 years to double your money in the bank at the moment?
Yep.
You know,
That's
so cash
crazy.
is
And
back.
so, look, I've been actually talking to a lot of members of the public, and there's a lot of people out there that have just got cash sitting in their bank. The longer it stays there, the less it's going to be worth, guys. So you need to start replacing it and turning it into an asset.
Yep. Belinda, you're a
Positive yield.
cracker.
Oh, I reckon that was from me saying stampy pants.
Yeah, you are a cracker. You're funny. Lisa, yes, from the lady. He was talking about the tipping point, the lady's borrowing capacity question. Yes, there is a tipping point. There's a tipping point of getting more. There's also a tipping point where you get stuck until you get the next tipping point. So you're right. It's a little balancing act, and you get cash flow, you get equity, you get savings, and suddenly you tip. Then you got to do it again and keep going. But the fact of it is,
absolutely.
you can do it, but it's hard. It's not easy. But the thing is, successful people do the things unsuccessful people are not willing to do.
Correct.
That's the fact of it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yep.
Simple.
Yep.
You know?
Look, absolutely. I mean, we've had members that have joined, and sometimes they're like, oh, this is a bit too overwhelming. This is a bit stressful. It's like, well, imagine fast forward and you didn't set yourself up and you haven't got that passive income. How much more stress are you creating?
Yeah,
It's those little pain points. Well, like you say, George, choose your pain.
Choose your pain. But look, there's two types of pain in the world. Only two types.
Yes.
This is the bad news. The bad news, it's compulsory. Right?
That's right.
Because you've got the pain of discipline and you've got the pain of regret.
That's right.
And the bad news is it's not optional. You have to get some pain in your life. You know what the good news is? You get to choose. Right? So if you choose the pain of discipline, you get to avoid the pain of regret.
Yes.
But if you don't
so simple
choose the pain of discipline, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to get regret. And guess what? The pain of regret is a lot worse.
It outweighs it.
Than the pain of discipline. So that's why you want to use the pain of discipline. And that's why I'm here to motivate you to get you off your ass, to get in there and start investing and do it. Do you have an office in New South Wales? No, we don't. We don't have an office anywhere. We closed our offices. We're online now.
Closed our office because of COVID.
We're Australia-wide, right?
We're Australia-wide. And by the way, Mr. Whoever, I've only got Facebook new user. We have plenty and plenty of members in New South Wales. So, look, Zoom makes everything so more accessible these days. Absolutely. And there's nothing better than now working with members that can sit back with their pajamas and a glass of wine and do due diligence. Bring it on.
Now, look, I just got to thanks a lot, guys. Motivational boosts the past 100%. Onwards and upwards from here. Mac Daddy. Mac Daddy, high five. Mac Daddy is one of our coolest members. With a name like Mac Daddy, what can you say? Like, let's face it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. So I joined to get the experts in the inner circle to help and show the path forward through the weeds.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yep.
That's great.
It's great. Me, excellent.
Me, I agree. Yay. Woo.
Awesome. Look, guys, fantastic. It's been great. If we've got a few more questions, we can talk about that later. But look, the question is, has the property market peaked? No, it hasn't. So what we've got is a bit of a summary. We've got quite a few booms coming on top of each boom. And when all these booms end, guess what's going to happen? So before COVID, we had a boom anyway. And what was driving that boom? Migration.
So guess what's going to happen?
Now, we've got negative migration over the last year. We've lost 70,000 people, and our property market's gone through the roof. Our vacancy rates have gone down, and it's gone crazy. And our economy's gone up without the migration. Now, when migration comes back, which it will, and it's going to come back with a vengeance, because now Australia is going to be the most popular country in the world, if it wasn't before.
All the expats are going to come back. This is the lucky country. We live on an island. Hello.
Now, what's going to happen is, if you think this boom is crazy, wait till the migrants come back. They're going to go nuts. They're going to go in there.
And international students as well. Hello.
Yep. That's right. So this is nothing. So don't
Yep.
think we're even close to the peak. I think we've still got a few years yet before we hit the peak. And
Correct.
then
Absolutely.
after we hit the peak, we're going to have a small little dip. And guess what's going to happen? It's going to go up again.
And again.
Keep going because we're the number richest country in the world. And
Yes.
property prices are very cheap. A lot of people don't get this, but when I was buying property in the 1990s, almost said 1900s, but no, that wasn't.
You're not that old.
When I was buying property in the 1990s, it was cost me $300 a week per property.
Wow.
Now, when I buy a property, they're positive, cost me nothing. So what's cheap?
Yeah, right.
It doesn't matter the price of the property, it depends on how much it costs out of your pocket.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, someone's, I agree. Yep. Hey, love it.
I agree. Love it and proud to be a member. Woohoo! Very grateful.
People started getting a bit crazy. We've got some amazing members. Yeah. So look, guys, if you're not a member, I suggest you arm yourself with some information and make sure you learn more about the property market before it peaks. And I suggest you do our 14-day challenge and type in hashtag challenge. And one of our team members will
masterclass challenge. Get yourself
900. You're a vampire. I wish I was. I'd love to be a vampire. It'd be great. Except for the drinking blood part. But the living forever and looking good forever, I don't mind that part.
Yeah, it's all right. Look, guys, usually when people ask me how's the best step of getting involved in investing, and I always say,
challenge. Someone said I'm on the challenge. Oh, excellent.
Hey,
Tortilla's getting excited.
Always say,
awesome. We're getting excited too.
Absolutely. He just joined our membership last week.
Well, guys, guess what?
Hello.
Not only we're going live now, this is going to go on an international podcast with 10,000 people watching this. So if you're on that podcast, hello and welcome and thank you. I've booked a call Belinda on the 14th. Look forward to that. Look at that.
I don't know who that is, but I'll make sure I remember that, and you're in for a treat. Absolutely. Make sure you've got your sponge hat ready to go.
Guys, you can't get more exciting than Belinda. She's motivated. She's one of a kind. She's awesome. And, she's Belinda's one of our top property coaches. And Belinda knows her stuff, knows my stuff really well. Seriously.
Yeah. Beautiful. Bring it on. Thank you, George.
Definitely.
Yep. Absolutely. We're here to look after you.
Look,
what else?
That I've decided to delay my departure for a year.
Yes, I heard you told me the news the other night. I was very excited.
Yep. So
we're not going to lose you and Christina.
I was going to move to Bali. I was going to move to Bali, but I've decided to stay in Australia for another year. Okay, learn a lot being a member of George Markowski Property. Thanks, George. You're welcome.
Great.
Like she hasn't had a drink. She's great value. She certainly is. She's great value. Now, guys, I can't wait to.
I'm on the quality H2O tonight. There's no red wine for me.
The one thing I'm looking forward to is doing our one-day property summit with Robert Kiyosaki. Right? It's going to be very exciting. But I'm even more excited about our one-day two-day live workshop. Don't know if we can get Robbie down to that. It's going to be hard internationally at the moment, but it's going to be good. So we've got a lot of exciting things happening, and hopefully Robert Kiyosaki says yes to all this. We're in negotiations at the moment. Looks like he's open-minded, which is great.
So vodka. It's not vodka. If it was vodka, I'd have a mixer.
Exactly. Well, look. My neck held out, which is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you've done really well. Good on you, George. Look, some people would say, it's too hard basket, but it's really, you really look after this group and you're the leader of this community.
Thank you. We've committed to be here every Thursday night.
Rain, hail, shine, injuries and all.
That's right. So everyone, I'm really grateful for everyone. Thank you so much. We love you all. Absolutely. We love our members. We love our tribe. We love you all. You're great people. It's fantastic. You guys make it worth it for us to rock up every Thursday. You've got some great questions, great interaction, and I don't know, this is my favorite time during the week. I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Yep. Love chatting to our community. And
thank you so much for joining us too. You're awesome. Best ever I've done to be a member. Okay.
Yep. Best ever thing you've done as a member. Yep. Beautiful.
Oh, great. I appreciate the info, Bate Sotir. Thanks, brother. Fala Nogul, Blagodaram. There you go. Excellent. So, guys, love you guys. Love your work. Remember, we're here every Thursday night. Rain, hail, or shine. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat channel. We're here. Excellent stuff.
Excellent. So, enjoy. We'll talk soon. Now,
Absolutely. Last one.
Thanks, new to the tribe and going through the onboarding next week. Can't wait to start the new journey. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great one. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, everyone. See you
Love
Thursday.
your work.
Cheers.
Be good. Enjoy.
Thank you for listening. I'm grateful for all our listeners around the world. If you found this podcast valuable, please share with someone that might find this useful, and please join our tribe of purpose-driven investors, increasing income and impact in our Facebook group, Positive Property. Please note, with a multi-million-dollar property portfolio and a passive income, I've become incredibly successful in investing in property. The fact of it is, however, many people may find investing in property challenging. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of hard work. However, becoming educated to make an informed decision and having the right advisors gives you the tools you need to succeed. The most important part of this formula, however, is to actually take action and apply that knowledge. It is important to understand the information I share is of a general nature only and is not taking into account your unique circumstances. If you're considering investing in any asset class, you need to seek the advice of an independent professional advisor who will be able to look at your specific situation. Be sure your advisor has actually achieved the kind of results you're seeking. Many won't have, so beware. We've taken great care putting those educational resources together. We'd be surprised if you didn't find any errors or omissions. If you do, our legal team says we have to say we're not responsible for those. In fact, as with all things, even your success, we're not responsible. That responsibility always has and always will come down to you and the actions you take. We're passionate about supporting you in that process and helping you increase your ability to create wealth, live the life you desire, and provide all the things you dream of for you and your family.